Taking a look at, is it Affinity in Thomas format? So compared to the mono blue list that we played last time, this one's gonna lean a little bit towards combo. And it's not a combo that like wins you immediately, but it's a combo to get to your Kappa Cannoneer and potentially win in 1 or 2 turns. So with the reason said, we got this card called Arcbound Ravager. This is a pretty sweet card that lets you sacrifice any artifact and put +1/+1 counter on this creature. It also has modular 1, so that you can even sacrifice this card and then transfer the counter into another card, which is kind of cool because it just happens so that we have an unblockable creature called Kappa Cannoneer. So if you have an Arcbound Ravager, you could potentially kill your opponent immediately by casting the Kappa Cannoneer. And we also got a new card called Krong Mastermind. We also played this card last time in the mono blue Affinity. It wasn't as good as I expected, but in this deck, it's going to be a little bit better because we have tons of ways to actually generate a bunch of artifacts on the battlefield through 2 of these cards that we're going to be using to combo out the Kappa Cannoneers. And they are Weapon Manufacturing and Pinnacle Emissary. So Weapon Manufacturing is a 2-mana enchantment that says whenever a non-token artifact you control enters, and that is including lands, it'll create a colorless artifact named Munition Token that says whenever this token leaves the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to any target. So this card has 2 different synergies in the deck, which is with the Kappa Cannoneer, make a bunch of artifacts, and then cast Kappa Cannoneer. But it also synergizes with Arcbound Ravager, which lets you sacrifice any artifact on the battlefield. So this is a way to potentially become a removal spell, or you can even use this card as to kill your opponent. And we also have Pinnacle Emissary, which combos with Kappa Cannoneer. So yeah, potentially pretty cool deck. And as promised, next week we're going to be taking a look at a bunch of historic decks to see what some of the cards can do. So having said that, I'm going to be hopping over to some Thomas Best of 3 to show you guys what it does. So let's hop over. Alright, let's take a look at this deck today. So we have weapon manufacturing plus not really much going on, but we do have a weapon manufacturing, so we can go like Seed of Synod, Mishra's Bauble, plus a Mox Opal, but then if you do that, it doesn't really generate anything, so I'm not really sure if that's even that good. Maybe this is a mulligan. This is probably much better. Let's say I go Seed of Synod, Pinnacle, Warp, Bauble, Mox Opal, and I can leave up a Metallic Rebuke, which means I actually might have to bottom this. Funny enough. Yeah. It was a Sorin. It was a Sorin. I can hardcast this right now, but I kind of want to thoughtcast. Into another thoughtcast. Might just crack this Mishra's Bauble then. Although I can play the Krong. Is playing the Krong better? It's still a 6/4. It's not the worst. Entomb Reanimate. It's kind of good, actually, if they have it. I can force a chump block with the Atraxa. Potentially. I would need to draw into... Okay, so they're going to take away the weapon manufacturing now. Okay, so... They're going to still reanimate into a Sorin. So we do know opponent has an Alenda in hand. Otherwise, why would they, you know, play Sorin on turn 1? We were just like a tiny bit short this game. Just a tiny bit short. I don't think there's any card that gets us out of this. So... we'll just have to have our much needed counter spells. Let's get rid of Landlord Navigators. Actually, Emery is probably the slowest. I can see myself having a Harbinger. Opponent's deck has like almost no basics. They do have a Chrome Mox though. It's a fast navigator, but again, you know, opponent's deck is just they're going to mulligan for stuff here, so maybe we just lose immediately. Not sure. Is the last card reanimate? It is. Very good hand. So maybe we should have just mulliganed. Let me see here. Can we potentially get the Kappa Cannoneer down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think so. I don't think so. We just needed to mulligan, you know? We just needed to mulligan. We're gonna see one more card and I'll probably surrender. Oh, Calling Ritual. Alright. GG's. I could have mulliganed, but it was just such a good hand. Like, and it's not like they always have it, you know? Alright, so... Is this a good hand? It could potentially be a really good hand. I think we're just like missing like one or two pieces. A Thoughtseize. I think they're gonna get rid of a Pinnacle Emissary. This could be a show and tell. I'm not really sure. Watery Grave, Thoughtseize. Could be a Reanimator. Play this and play that, and then Thoughtcast. Okay, so Capacanir can come down next turn? Can it? Actually, no. It cannot. It cannot. Interesting. It's actually not a bad play, considering my hand. We don't have any ways to actually make this Mox Opal online. As I say that. That's really good. Okay, so it's another Reanimator deck? It's another Reanimator? So we can play the Capacanir next turn, but... Oh man. If they reanimate, we are dead. Oh, they topped it, so... Oh, it's a Psychic Frog, thank god. Thank god. Can I play... Capacanir if I go... Oh, I don't even have enough to, Okay, so I can't really play anything else here. I can actually play Arcbound Ravager. Because it's an artifact. We can actually kill the Psychic Frog here too. Maybe I want to wait on the Arcbound Ravager in case opponent can potentially reanimate next turn. I guess if they reanimate, they're dead. What should I do? So let's say they reanimate the Aatroxa. That's 7 damage they're taking. So opponent goes to 7. If I top deck an artifact, they're dead. Most likely opponent's probably dead anyways because of the Interlacer. What does it say? If a card you didn't control would be put into exile. Exile it instead. But munitions is not a card, so it doesn't get exiled when we crack it. Actually, since they crack the thing, they're just dead, even if they Aatroxa here. Since they go to 6, if they reanimate Aatroxa. And I can always just transfer the counter from Arcbound Ravager to the Kappa Cannoneer, making it unblockable. If I draw, you know, an artifact with the Interlacer. Okay, so they're dead. I don't think there's a single card that gets them out of this. Nice. Maybe we should have like more Tormod's Crypt in the sideboard. Potentially. Alright, so unable to scream. Dismissal. Force of negation. And we're gonna cut 2 navigators, 1 Emery, Krong. What else? Potentially... I feel like you can't cut these, right? Because of the Kappa Cannoneer. These are our draw spells. I guess we can cut some draw spells. Alright, we have a Force of Negation. It's actually a pretty sweet hand. Yeah, it's actually a pretty sweet hand. So we're gonna go Ceto Synod from Mox on the sink. Play the Navigator. Potentially I could have countered this. I think they're looking for a land. Maybe. Ooh. We don't have any like cheap artifacts though. Oh, that's actually really sick. Am I Pinnacle Emissary? So let's say I Pinnacle Emissary, Tormod's Crypt. That's gonna generate 2 artifacts. Then we have Dismissal plus Force of Negation. Doesn't seem too bad. Necromancy as well. An Orcish Bowmaster. Sure. We're gonna probably unable to scream. Yep. So, unable to scream. Attack. Great Furnace. And probably just leave up the same thing. Okay, opponent's leaving up something. Ooh, weapon manufacturing. I could just cap a cannoneer though, but I won't be able to leave up actually 1, 2. This is an artifact, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's go into full control. Pay with this. And we have a Chrome Mox up. Okay, Truxa goes to graveyard. Even if they like potentially reanimate this, as long as we can have let's say they do have a counter spell here and then, you know, they get to reanimate. I just need one land. Or an artifact for the Kappa Cannoneer to attack, so... Like, opponent goes to 1. I should have maybe attacked. That was a bad idea. Like, sacrifice one of the, you know, Magpie to the Psychic Frog, and I should have attacked. Mistakes were made. At least opponent can't really dodge seize right now. That's good. So they strip mine one of the Great Furnace, and I play Arcbound Ravager, and I attack with the Kappa Cannoneer. All right. GG's. Alright, so... Seed of Synod, Mishra's Bauble, Chrome Mox Emery. That's actually really cool. Or, I can go Pinnacle Emissary into a bunch of tokens, but I think Emery is probably better. We just can't leave up Dismissal though. We're playing against an Eldrazi. Pretty cool. Yeah, we can't leave up a Dismissal. We're saving the Chrome Mox for either one of these. Also, opponent could be on Chalice, so I actually have to be pretty careful. Right? That's right. Nothing to actually get back, by the way. Nothing to actually get back. I think we leave up a Metallic Rebuke instead of the Dismissal. Right. Oh my god. That's scary. Help? Karn Silex? Okay, we found another land. So, what does this say? Players, destroy each non-land permanent. Okay, so... I mean, it's still pretty bad. What's my next turn? Probably getting back Arcbound Ravager? Maybe? Kozilek's Command. Oh, Krong. Krong. Maybe that's what I'm playing here then. A 7/4, by the way. Into Kappa Cannoneer. Looks like we're just getting back Bobble then. A 9/4 Krong. I could also go Arcbound Ravager, Weapon Manufacturing, Arcbound Ravager, make 2 munitions, and I deal 6 damage with the Arcbound Ravager, and then I can sacrifice the Arcbound Ravager and a bunch of creatures, and it to itself, modular, and then put it on like a flyer or, you know, one of my creatures. The problem is, opponent has a Kozilek's Command, so they can go 2, 4, 5. They have 5 mana with the Kozilek's Command. So they can exile the Emery, Okay, opponent surrenders. Alright, so... they're gonna have Chalice. They're gonna have Chalice. Shattering Spree. Maybe we should have more Shattering Spree in the sideboard. And, some Force of Negation as well. That's not really gonna help here. Are these gonna be enough, though? I wonder. I don't have consigns, so... that's kind of the problem. It's kind of the problem. Okay, I'm gonna cut one Emery and one Landlord Navigator. Oh, Harbinger! Harbinger's great. Right, we have rather interesting hand yet again. We can have a Landlord Navigator on turn 1, which is kind of pretty important, but if they go... I hope they don't go Chalice on turn 1, that'd be kind of bad. Alright, okay, that's really good. So, I can go Chrome Mox on the Sink the Stupor, Mishra's Bauble, Mox Opal. I think that's what I'm gonna do. They have a 0-mana something. I'm kind of scared. They have 0-mana something. What would this trigger be? It's not a Strip Mine because nothing's on the battlefield. It's not a Surgical because there's nothing in the graveyard. It has to be like a Force of Negation. Subtlety? But it was an Eldrazi deck though. Now there's no trigger. I'm so confused. Maybe that was actually wrong. Maybe I should have actually gotten rid of weapon manufacturing or Thoughtcast. Oh no, even then I can't leave up Metallic Rebuke because we need artifacts. Yeah, so I don't think it's a Dismember either. What if it's like a Force of Vigor? Pinnacle. Let's attack first. Alright, GG's. This is a pretty decent hand in empowering the Drix Interlacer, but like we got no interactions. So we kind of like have to rely on the Thoughtcast drawing a bunch of cards. We'll see. I think this hand is probably maybe the weakest hand we've seen today. I think we've been actually getting pretty lucky with some of the mulligans today. I mean, you know, despite losing that game. Okay, so we're playing against a Show and Tell. We don't have any interactions other than Sink the Stupor. Kind of sus, if you ask me. Very sus. Oh, that's so fast. We might actually die here. Yeah, we might actually die here. And they let it rip. Yeah, at least it's an Aatroxa, which I can Sink to Stupor. They didn't get another Show and Tell, which is good. I might actually just Sink to Stupor this. Man, that's unfortunate that they had such a fast Aatroxa there. I might actually let this connect the ones. No, then they have a Veil of Summer. And they have a Polluted Delta to grab the Greenland. Alright, so we got a Kappa Cannoneer, but we actually really need to just bounce this thing. Before they get the, Veil of Summer. We're still not in a good position, you know? It's gonna be pretty hard. Okay, we lost. Alright, I think despite the Harbinger not really stopping opponent from casting things like Show and Tell, I think the Harbinger is still pretty important because they have things like Ancient Tomb. It shuts down Veil of Summer, which is actually pretty important as well. Also gonna bring in Toka. Force of Negation. Dismissal. And we're going to take away Emery. Krong. I do like Landlord Navigator in this matchup because opponent doesn't have any like creatures. What do we take out? I'm kind of leaning towards like, I feel like we're playing the control game here. So maybe like Arcbound Ravagers? Maybe something like that? I don't know. Okay. I think we might actually have to forget about this Pinnacle Emissary because we have a Force of Negation. And try to draw something with the Interlacer. But just in case if we draw, another blue spell, we can go Emissary into these cards. I should have also taken this Tormod's Crypt out. Okay. I think I'm just going to draw with the Interlacer here. Ravager. Abrupt Decay. Mystical Tutor. Let's see what they get. So I'm hoping opponent doesn't have a land right now. Right? Demonic Tutor. It's Ancient Tomb as well. I think I'm just gonna have to draw here. Look for another answer. Not really gonna do it. It does let me play the Arcbound Ravager though. Well, I don't think we have it. Maybe we can make the opponent force the. Maybe we'll. I don't know. Do we have enough? I don't really know. It's a mystery. I'm just doing all I can right now so that opponent has, you know, doesn't really have much life to tap the Ancient Tomb potentially. 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't think we have enough. So 6, 7. So if I bring my opponent down to 2, that means they can't shock or play Ancient Tomb, right? Oh man, it's an Abrupt Decay. That's unfortunate. No, it's an Abrupt Decay. No. No. Their last card. Okay. Oh, we just sacrifice everything, so even if I top deck like an artifact, can I even play it? Oh no. I think this list plays 2 Abrupt Decay, by the way. Oh no. It's a sink. It's a sink. I think I just pass, right? Because if I draw an artifact, opponent goes to 14. I draw an artifact, I still have 14 damage next turn. Boom, boom, boom. I can't believe they just ponder into show and tell. That's insane. So close. What are they gonna demonic tutor for now? Pinnacle Emissary? That's an artifact. Oh my god. That was so close, right? Jesus. Absolutely insane. Okay, do we like our sideboarding, by the way? Yeah, do we like our sideboarding here? Maybe Emery can go. But then for what? I guess we can have like more Arcbound Ravager to be a little bit more explosive, but I think this is okay. Okay, we got a dismissal. Oh, I can't play the Navigator on turn 1 though. I forgot to take this out again. I lied. I can go Navigator on turn 1. Okay, surely opponent doesn't have an Ancient Tomb for the 3rd time, right? Surely they don't. A Misty Rainforest. And a pass. Okay, so we have a single Stupor or Dismissal. Let's attack first. A Pinnacle Emissary. I think we just pass. So if opponent goes Ancient Tomb here into Show and Tell, then we have to sink to Stupor because then they probably have a Veil of Summer. But if they don't, we're gonna Dismissal. Okay. Now we have us 2 Sink to Stupors and... Okay, that's fine. The Landlord has done its job. Okay, another Landlord. I have to probably leave both of these, right? I really need a Force of Negation at least. Okay, Toka is a great card. Toka is an excellent card. No 0 mana artifacts either. So we go blue. Another Landlord Navigator. Into Mox Opal. And we pass. The attack of the Magpie! Yeah, like I said, Landlord Navigator is really good in this matchup because they don't play any like creatures. So we actually have some really, really good spells here, right? We can sink, Dismissal, If those fail, we can put the Toka down on the battlefield. Although opponent's life total is kind of healthy, so not sure. A mana drain. Didn't expect that. So we're gonna dismissal. And then the Veil of Summer is going to get Sink into Stupor. Or do we want to Sink into Stupor this? No. Then they wouldn't use the Veil of Summer. Okay, so they don't even have a Veil of Summer? Where are our counter spells? What? Alright, GG's. I think that's going to wrap it up today. I think the deck is actually pretty cool. Alright, so we got to play some Is It Affinity today. Unfortunately, like, we didn't have like the craziest start to get the Kappa Cannoneer down on turn 1. But because of things like Landlord Navigator, even if you can't really do that, you also have the other explosive start with this card. We also got to cast the Pinnacle Emissary a couple of times. This was actually very helpful in generating artifacts on the battlefield, which was really good. We never really got to see like the combo with the Pinnacle Emissary plus the weapon manufacturing, generating an artifact, and then the weapon manufacturing triggers, things like that. But we got to actually see the Arcbound Ravager twice today, where with the weapon manufacturing, that was actually semi-relevant. Like the fact that like it can deal direct damage in this deck is actually pretty good. And even if opponent has like removal spells, you can always transfer the counters on the Kappa Cannoneer, which did happen today, which was also really good. Yeah, I mean, the deck was pretty good. I actually thought the Krong was pretty good as well today. It's just a really large beater, and sometimes it can draw you like more than the Thought Monitor can. As for like the counter spells, so we're playing 2 copies of Metallic Rebuke and 1 copy of Machinist Dismissal. I know some lists play more like 4 copies of Dismissal. I think that's a little bit too much. Leaning so much on the non-creature spell is not really my jam. In the latter, like you're gonna see a lot of creature decks do kind of like the Metallic Rebuke, especially in the deck, right? Especially in the deck with things like Pinnacle Emissary and weapon manufacturing generating a bunch of extra artifacts. Metallic Rebuke is actually pretty good. I'm still not sure about the Drix Interlacer. This is kind of a hit and miss. Really good with Emery, but this list is only playing 2 copies of Emery. Today, the Interlacer drew 2 cards, which is basically casting a Thought Cast, which in itself is not bad. If you don't have this card, I don't think it's gonna be like the end of the world. Like, let's say if you want to craft this deck, if you don't have the Drix Interlacer, you can definitely play, Thought Monitor and more copies of Thought Cast, and I think that's gonna be okay. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye-bye.